Most of us, if not all, believe in a religion and follow it, considering it as the ultimate truth. Isn't it amazing how every parent passes down a legacy of beliefs to their children, and every one of them is a sacred truth? Subhanallah. We go through our whole life believing in those religions, but how many of us actually have faith? The story we're going to tell you is about an extraordinary woman who went in search of faith when every odd was stacked against her. Sister Angel was raised as a Christian, and her family practiced the faith religiously. Going to Sunday school and attending church became a routine for her. She also studied the Bible thoroughly and believed in the written word. However, as time went on, she sensed a few inconsistencies within the Bible. Why should she worship Jesus and not God himself? And if there's Jesus to worship, God to follow, then who in the world is the Father? It all confused her. Sister Angel channeled her confusion into research and started to read up on different schools of thought, which led her to arguments by different religions. By this time, she had enrolled herself into a 2-year associate program in mental health, which gave her further insight into how religion affects the common man's living. Now, there's one thing we haven't told you about Sister Angel, and that is the fact that she's actually legally blind. Subhanallah. Despite the disability, she went on in search of the ultimate truth and found that there were actually very little transcripts available in Braille. How could she go on now? Whom could she trust enough to provide her with unbiased guidance? Angel worried that she might never be able to reach the truth. All she had to rely on was her education, so she poured into it and completed her master's in electronic engineering. The dust hadn't settled yet, though, because her drive to understand religion and her qualifications as a student led her to an idea. If she could find religion in books, then she'll have to look for books in religion, and that means Angel was thinking of pursuing theology. Soon enough, she got admitted into a PhD program in biblical studies, and there she found what she was actually looking for. You see, Sister Angel's eyes were blind, but her heart wasn't. She could sense how the Bible kept contradicting itself, which made her realize that it wasn't the real truth. So, as a theologian-to-be, Angel studied all the divine works of God, from the Torah to the Holy Quran, and the gears in her head started turning one by one. She read about the oneness of God in the Quran, and then read stories about all the prophets she believed were gods. Na'udhu billah. Angel saw many similarities between the divine scriptures, but what struck her was how the Holy Quran explained everything, from life and death to the day of judgment and the hereafter. It felt right to her. She felt a sense of peace while reading it, like every cell in her body knew she was reciting the ultimate truth. So, with degrees in multiple scientific disciplines, Dr. Angel set out to embrace Islam. She delved into the Holy Quran, read books about the prophets, listened to lectures by religious teachers, and finally felt ready to accept the true faith. Sometime later, Dr. Angel visited a masjid downtown and expressed her desire to testify to the religion of Allah. The sisters in the masjid rejoiced and took her to meet the sheikh. After they had discussed the basic fundamentals of Islam together, the sheikh asked her about her educational background, what brought her towards Islam, and attempted to ease her into reverting to Islam by ensuring that she has a community that welcomes with open arms. Dr. Angel relaxed and got seated upstairs. Soon, she heard a man on the mic introduce her to the crowd, and 3 minutes later asked her to repeat the Shahada, which is a testimony of Islam. This is how Dr. Angel, a Bible expert by degree, officially became a Muslim. Subhanallah, Allah Almighty is indeed the turner of hearts. Whether it be blindness of her eyes or of her knowledge of faiths, Sister Angel overcame all her doubts and reached the destination she always pursued. In this day and age, where false media is prevalent and religion is sold to the masses to instill fear, not faith, there are still people that search for the divine message, and indeed Allah guides them if they are truthful. It is upon us, Muslims, to cultivate a community of love and make ilm a priority. Instill the message of the Holy Quran in our children so they may also grow up in having knowledge of faith. May Allah keep Dr. Angel and all of us steadfast on our Iman and guide us always. Ameen.